Hi. All right, I'm gonna record. I'm gonna shut the door real quick. Yeah, go for it. Today's topic is growing your business, continuing to grow your business or growing it from wherever you're at in a changing market for no money. Anybody interested in that, right? Yeah, exactly. Apparently there's only 3 of you that are interested in that because that's all that's in the room today, including April. So it's 10 tips, 10 things that you can start doing right away, or things that you need to be doing to stay relevant and to stay in business as the market shifts a little bit. So I'm just going to go through the 10 things, talk about best practices in each one so that you guys kind of have an understanding of what I mean by each one. But these things are meant to cost you no money, really, no money. So as we go into a changing market or a changed market, some of these are just skill sets that you guys are going to have to learn, develop, build, improve upon, whatever you want to say, because these are skill sets that you possibly have never had to do before, ever. So I just want to put these on your radar and make sure that you understand what things, here you go, good morning.
Good morning.
What things you need to be focusing on and doing to be prepared and to stay relevant in this market that we're going into, okay? So the first one, Siobhan, is just growing in a changing market for no money. So I'm going over 10 tips, 10 things you can do that you should absolutely be doing on a regular basis. Hi. So, and we are recording this. So the first one, number one, sounds like an easy one, but it's building your confidence. So building your confidence, right? I know. Yeah, it sounds like an easy one, but so how do you do that? How do you build your confidence level? It's by becoming a student of the industry, meaning know your statistics, right? I talk about this at the office meetings. I talk about it a lot, but know your statistics, become a student of the industry. If you know the statistics, and we're going to dive into this a little bit more further down, you can have educated conversations with people about what's really going on in the market or what's not going on in the market, right? Because you know the stats. So one of your to-do items for yourself every week to win the week should be researching the statistics. What's going on in our local market? So here's some of the statistics that you should know. And I can teach you how to calculate these if you need to know how to calculate them. But a lot of these you're going to pull out of Bright MLS. So the first one is number of listings today versus last year. Do you think that's an important statistic? Yes. If listings are going up and we have more listings today than we did this day 1 year ago, is that an important stat for you to talk to potential sellers or potential buyers about? Because then it's starting to show them that the market is shifting, right? Or is it? Maybe it's not. Maybe when you look it up, the statistic that you find for our local market is that there's actually less listings on the market today than there were a year ago. That's equally important to know and to share to potential clients, right? And that's out of Bright. So when you go into Bright MLS, what you're going to do is you're going to create a new search. And you're going to draw the map polygon all around the state of Maryland. And then you're going to pull active and coming soon, right? And that's going to show you how many listings for the state, or you can say more local. You don't even have to do the whole state of Maryland. You could do Central Maryland. So just draw a circle around the area that you work or radius around Baltimore metro area, right? If you don't work Western Maryland, like Cumberland, Deep Creek, that area, then maybe you don't need to include that in your statistics because your buyers and sellers are not going to care about that. Hyper local, right? So Central Maryland real estate, here's what's going on in our market in the Central Maryland area. And when I say Central Maryland, I mean, you need to know this. Like, what are you speaking of? Baltimore, Anne Arundel, Hartford, Howard, Carroll, Baltimore City, right? Those are maybe the areas that you're talking about. So median sales price now versus 12 months ago. Okay, so when you go in and you pull your search, this is going to change to closed listings. So maybe you pull closed sales from in the last 3 months, and then down at the very bottom for that same area. So you want to stick to that same area. So now what you're going to do is you're going to stay in that same map area, but you're going to go back and change your criteria from active and coming soon to closed, right? And go back the last 3 months. And then you want to see that when you pull that list of closed listings, down at the very bottom of that report of results, there's a stats button. So in that little orange bar that says whether you print them, export them, whatever you do with that in Bright, that you're going to, and I can show you actually, I have it up probably still. Down at the very bottom, so I'll show you. You're going to look at stats. So you're going to click on stats. And when closed, right now we're looking at closed, right? Because the next stat on your list is median sales price. So now if we go back into Bright MLS, and I can either pull particular counties. So if I don't want to do it, you don't have to do a map search. You could do just specific counties that you want to pull. So if I do Anne Arundel, Carroll, Baltimore, city and county, Hartford, Howard, thank you. I said, wait, I'm forgetting. So PG, we could do Prince George's, yeah. And maybe Montgomery. So here's our Central Maryland area, right? So now down here, coming soon and actives, that's what you're going to keep to pull up how many there were last year versus this year. I'm going to take out listings, right? These are active listings. And it's 5,000 plus matches right now. So here it is. So your search returned 6,444 listings right now active in Central Maryland, right? So now if I go back and I revise this, so let me think through this. Yes. So we would have to do closed. How would we do that? I think listing term. So if we're looking at October, I would say 09, let's see if this will work. 01, 2022 to 010, 15. Thank you. Sorry, I just want to see how we would, I'm trying to think through how we would pull them for last year.
21.
Yep, 21 would be good. That's closings. But if I do active and coming soon, but no, because those are ones that are still on the market. If I just do listing term begins with no status, here it is, 9,487 listings for that same time period. So what I did was same counties, right? All these stats, you can keep the same counties pulled for. So now what I did was I don't have any status pulled up, right? Because they could have closed, expired, withdrawn. They could still be active or pending. So Brandon, right now we're on the number one, knowing your stats, okay. Becoming a student of the industry. So how to pull the number of listings today versus last year. So in Bright MLS, you're going to go and pull Central Maryland territory. So whatever counties you typically work that you want to pull stats for, pull those same stats all the time. Hi, Mildred. So what I did down here was listing term began. So when the listing term began. So I pulled it for the last 2 months. You could do for all of quarter 3 if you want to look for, depending on when you're pulling these statistics, right? But right now, if we want to know how many active listings there are right now versus this time last year, maybe it's over a 2-month period. So last September, October, it's about a month and a half. There were, if I go here, so I put in my list when the listing term began, no status, just when that listing term began, because that's going to show me any listings that went active or coming soon during that time period. Okay. So then I go to click on 5,000 plus matches. and it tells you right here. So last year, from September 1 to October 15th, there were 9,487 listings. So now what we have to do is we have to do the same exact search, but for this time period this year. So we're not going to put any status in there. Okay. So we're going to go in here and we're going to change this to 22 and 22 with no status selected, right? Because the property could have gone active September 1st and closed October 1st, right? So we just want to know how many listings there were this same period of time this year versus last year. So now when I click on 5,000 plus matches, there's 6,985 listings. So there's fewer listings this year than there were this same time period last year. Make sense? Yeah, by almost 3,000 listings, 2,500 listings less. So that's how you're going to pull that statistic. The next one to pull the other one that we just talked about, the other one. So Mildred, we're on this first bullet, confidence, becoming a student of the industry. So how to grow your business in this market. One of the very first one is building your confidence, right? And instilling confidence in the people that you're having conversations with. So the first one was number of listings today versus last year. So we just did that one. The next one is median sales price. So if you go back into MLS and you want to know the median sales price now versus 12 months ago. So now we want to know closed properties. And we want to know properties that closed. So we can use the same term, the same period, September 1 through October, right? So we're going to copy that. We're going to put those dates over here in closed, delete out the listing term because it doesn't matter when it went active. We want to know when they closed, what the median sales price was. Okay. Same time period, whatever time period you choose to go with, last month, last quarter, whatever. I just did September 1 through October 15th. So I'm going to change it to closed from these dates, September 1st to October 15th, which I know we're not even at October 15th yet, but we're close enough. And then I have 4,952 matches. Okay. When I click on results, the way you get that statistic of median sales price, here's all my results. I go down here to the bottom and click on stats. And you can either do charts. No, we don't want charts. We want tabular. And I might have to make a select all. Yep, here we go. So tabular. So you want stats, tabular. And here are my statistics for the almost 5,000 properties that closed from September 1 to October 13th today in Central Maryland in those counties that we selected.
Sorry, are you working?
Notice here it's giving.
No, you're fine. You're good. As long as you're good.
Sorry. You're good. Sorry, Michelle. I can't mute. Oh, there we go. So now notice here it shows you median sales price and average sales price. So the median, I would go with the median sales price. That takes the middle of the road, taking out the highest and the lowest, and it gives you the median. The average includes all of them. 3,700, 3,700. Oh my gosh. $374,450. Ay, ay, ay. So that's the median sales price for that next statistic. Keep that chart up. If I can get back to my screen, here we go. So that's the median sales price now. So then you're just going to go back, right? And you're going to change that date to last year. So go back to your criteria. All you're doing is changing 2022 to 2021. That's it. Now you click into results. You go down to stats, tabular, and there it is. Median was 310,000. So right now it's 374,450. Last year it was 310,000 was the median sales price. Yeah. So we're down in listings. So do you think this is starting to paint a different picture for people that you're talking to versus what the media is telling them? Yes. There's fewer listings on the market than there were last year. The average close price is higher than it was last year. And we can look at days on the market too. So now we're at 310,000. Here's your total closed days on the market. 10 is your median, right? Because your next statistic, I think, is average days on the market now versus 12 months ago. So days on the market, 10, same thing, go back. All you have to do is change this now forward. Oops. Do you see how you just keep it? You just keep that stuff up, same counties. Now we're just going to change this to 2022. Go to my results, my statistics tabular. And then here we are at 12. So yes, properties are staying on the market a little bit longer, but in Central Maryland, are you seeing this crazy change in the market? No. If anything, there's fewer listings, there's higher close price ratios, and they're only staying on the market an average in all of Central Maryland 2 days longer than they were last year. Right? That paints a very different picture for people that you're talking to than what the media is saying to them. So do you understand how understanding and becoming a student of the statistics will help you in all of the conversations that you're having with potential sellers or potential buyers that say, oh, well, the market, it's horrible, it's horrible. You know, we think we're just going to wait till it's a different market. Where are you getting your information from? And let's talk hyper local. Let's have an educated conversation about what's going on in Central Maryland versus what's going on in the rest of the country. Because you're not buying a house in Las Vegas, Nevada, or in, oh, she's not coming in, or in Arizona, or in California, anywhere else, right? You're buying a house here in Central Maryland. So let me talk to you about what's going on in Central Maryland. Make sense? So that's how building your confidence by understanding the market statistics is incredibly important. Hi.
Case into what you were saying before, telling us about how our market is not affected the same way it is.
No, yeah, exactly. Months of inventory. So for that statistic, you're going to go to Maryland Realtors website, mdrealtor.org, and they just finally, I think today, what's today, Thursday or yesterday, put out their monthly housing stats for last month. So this is another great one to keep up on. So I'm going to show you where you find it. Maryland Realtors, mdrealtors.org, mdrealtor.org, singular. You go up to resources and then monthly housing statistics. And they give you this really cool infographic that you can download. This is an image. So I can right click or control click on this image. Oops. And I can save it, download it to my desktop. And now I can use it in my social media posts. So marylandrealtor.org, Maryland Realtors website, resources, and then I go to monthly housing statistics. So it just came out yesterday for the month of September. So these are September statistics. But here's even more, there's more information here, right? And this gives you the year over year comparison. So notice the numbers we just pulled. They're exactly these numbers, right? No different. We pulled it out of Bright MLS, maybe a little bit different, but units 2021, 9,445 houses on the market or sales settled last September. This September, 6,748, right? Average price up by 4.8% for the whole, but this is Maryland as a whole, remember? So these numbers are going to be a little bit different than if you pull them out of Bright MLS for Central Maryland, the area of Maryland that you actually work. Okay. Here's your median price, almost exactly the same, 370,000 versus 386. In Bright MLS, that difference was a little higher, right? It was 310 to 374.
So this page by itself is basically answering all the bullet points.
It is, but for the whole state of Maryland. Yeah. So you may not want to give the statistics for the whole state of Maryland. You might want to stay even more hyper local. If you don't work, like I said, Cumberland, Deep Creek, all the farthest points of Maryland, the farthest edges, all the way to Ocean City, hone it in to the area in Maryland that you actually work. Make sense? But here's months of inventory. I pulled this one up because this is really important. So in 2022, Months of inventory is 1.3. In 2021, they were 1.5 months. So we've even gone down in months of inventory from last year. That's huge because the picture that the media is painting is that we are now in a what kind of market, seller or buyer? A buyer market, right? That it's switching to more of a buyer's market, that there's more listings on the market. Buyers have more to choose from, more chance of getting closing cost help, bidding, not having to overbid, maybe getting it for less than what. Is this painting a different picture than what the media is saying? Absolutely. So making sure that you understand this is extremely important. So here again, new listings, 2022, 8,566 new listings. 2021, 10,911 new listings. Here's your median days on the market for the month of September. 11 days on the market for 2022, 8 days on the market in 2021.
Do you think some of that was because the people were at 21 were throwing stuff at the wall just to see if it sticks and whether or not the house would sell? Some people are like,
Possibly, maybe, could have been.
hey, let me put it out there. My agency, it's a good time.
Could have been, but what we're seeing now with listings, even still, is their sellers are still throwing it up on the wall to see if it sticks. They're still, right? They're saying, oh, well, it's still a seller's market. And I think, there's not that many listings. I want to try to sell it for 1.2 million. Dude, your house is worth 350,000. I don't care. I want to see if I can get it. They're still doing that.
I was dealing with a listing agent over in Baltimore Highlands, literally said the exact same thing. It was like, and it's a house that needs a full gut rehab.
It's
everything.
crazy.
It's being rented out as well. And he was just like offended by our offer. And the seller ended up just taking it off the market.
Wow.
I was like, "Look."
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, sellers are still, and that's why right now what we're seeing, so many deals falling apart because of under appraisals. I'm talking about big under appraisals. One of our agents happened to just have one recently that her buyers were buying it underappraised by 50,000. 50,000. That's huge. So it's, and who knows whether they just overpriced it to begin with, or the appraiser was just crazy, who knows? But, we're starting to see the under appraisals come in because sellers are getting greedy. They're thinking that I can just put it on the market for whatever I want, and buyers are going to come and I'm going to get it. I'm going to get whatever I want. So keep that in mind. Michelle, I wasn't going to call you out, Michelle.
I know. I was like,
it was
oh,
her
that
back-
was me. We recovered.
They did recover. She held the deal together amazingly, but that's that skill set, right? That's having those honed, sharpened skills of being an expert negotiator.
So how do you handle a situation?
That's weird.
Michelle, do you want to talk about how you handled that? No.
Sure. No problem. Sorry, it takes me a second to get off mute. No, it's
No,
that's
you're
cool. I'll talk about it. So I kind of went back and forth the night before. I was a little prepared, and I'm not going to lie. We kept it a secret. Luckily, the other agent is in our office as well. And we kind of kept it a secret while we went back and forth with the, the appraisal management company, because we were trying to fight it a little bit. We were trying to recover a little bit of money. Like, look, we're not asking for 50K, but work with us. And they didn't budge. So I don't know. That night I did like a really big housing search, and I really didn't have much to show them if it did crumble the next day, but I was prepared to like hit the road the next day. When I told them, I was like, look, we're either hitting the road or you're making this house work. We need to decide which. And I really didn't, as I was talking to them, sell it to them as in like how this works great for you. I kind of did the opposite, and I sold it to them more like, what is going to happen if you don't take the house? Because honestly, it was pretty negative. It was going to be, you're going to wind up in a rental. You're going to move twice. Right there's $5,000. You're going to wind up in a rental. You're going to spend 15K. It's hard enough to find rentals. They're like going to be more than your mortgage that you're paying now. And also, they're going to make you sign a year lease. It's pretty hard to find a 6-month rental. And their house is closing October 25th. We do have a rent back, but I was like, you literally have 4 weeks to rearrange your entire life. And the more they dug into it, they were like, it just really sucked because we only had 20K extra in the deal. And they thought that for the first time in their lives, they would going to this new home, bigger mortgage, they would actually have a savings. And they've never had a savings because they spend just like everybody. So it just disappeared, the savings. And the more they thought about it, they took a day and they were like, you're right. When you weigh out all the negatives, it's hard to put a spin on a positive when you're telling somebody I'm taking 25 grand of your money, right?
Yep,
So we
yeah.
just went,
Well,
I
good
just kind of talked about the negatives of what could go wrong in the next 6 weeks of looking for another house. And they were on board. They got on board really fast.
Yeah, really fast.
But I'll be
Like one
honest
night.
with you,
That
if that 20K wasn't in the deal and we were down to the dollar with nothing left to work with for approval, I really don't know what would have happened.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
no, I agree. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, no problem.
So, but that's part of, so having those statistics, right? So knowing how to pull them, get familiar with them, become a student of the statistics, pull them every month. So every month, you know what last month's statistics looked like, or this month's statistics, where we're at right now, but just stay familiar with what's going on. You have to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Can you imagine a loan officer? Think about it this way. Most agents have no idea what the statistics look like in their marketplace. Very, very few. So if you know them, you're already elevating yourself to a higher level of professionalism and expertise over the large majority of agents in the marketplace, right? Think about it this perspective. If you had a loan officer who did not keep their finger on the pulse every day of what was going on with interest rates, can you imagine what would happen to buyers that they didn't lock because they missed the memo saying that interest rates were going to spike today because this is what happened yesterday? Loan officers yesterday that had buyers that had not locked, that were under contract, they were locking because they got word that it was not looking positive for interest rates starting today, and that they were expecting another hike, another jump, and they were locking buyers. They have to be on the pulse of what's going on with interest rates every single day, because it can cost their buyers a house, not being able to be approved for the mortgage payment that they were approved for yesterday, right? So these are big deals in lending. We have to treat it equally as important in our side of the business and know what's going on in the marketplace, okay? Number two, misconception. There's the biggest misconception in the industry is that top producers do fewer activities than lower producers. That the higher production that you get to, you're going to do less things to generate business. No, right? You don't. They might, but here's what top producers do. They do the highest return on value activities. They know what activities generate them business, and those are the activities that they focus on. They have become masters of being CEOs in their business, right? Not COOs or CFOs. They delegate out those tasks. They hire a transaction coordinator. They hire an accountant. They hire an assistant when they get to that level, whatever that looks like for them. But they delegate out those activities that are the $15 an hour activities. They're not doing them. If we have a top producer that's doing a $15 an hour activity and they come in to meet with me for business planning or accountability, the first thing I'm telling them is you're focusing on the wrong activities. We're going to do an exercise in business planning on November 3rd together, where you guys, it's a worksheet. You guys go through this worksheet. You put in how much money you want to earn in real estate, and it calculates backwards for you the value of your hourly billable rate. Cassie can rattle it off to you off the top of her head. She knows this year. Now, next year, it's going to be a different billable rate, and I guarantee you it's going to be more. But she knows how much her hourly rate is worth. Why? Because now, when somebody tries to pull her off task or pull her into, hey, let's go get lunch today, or hey, let's go do this today, let's go get our nails done or go shopping or whatever it might be, she knows, oh, hell no. My billable hourly rate is $345.76, and I still have $35,000 to go to reach my goal for this year. I'm not losing $353.45, whatever her rate is, because I took an hour off during my business day to go get my nails done. I'll meet you on Saturday morning before my open house, right? Or whatever it looks like for you. But if you know your hourly billable rate, are you as likely to sit there and do your own paperwork? Because it's going to cost you $295 to hire Dan's transaction coordination team to do your paperwork for you.
My
When,
Contract right now, the one that we were getting, you keep getting emailed on,
yeah,
the trust.
yeah.
I.
You're not handling it.
It's the first one. It was such a waste of my time. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm just gonna have to handle the trust.
Exactly, because what should you be focusing on?
Building my business.
Yeah, prospecting activities, right? Talking to your database, reaching out to your database, prospecting, meeting new Zillow leads that are becoming database people. Those are your CEO activities, your business generating activities. Those are the highest return on value activities. So as we go into this different market, if we go into it like they are saying we could, you have to be focusing on, and it says right here, the vast majority of your activities should be focusing on building relationships, on relationship activities. 67% of listings and 53% of buyers come from relationships that you have. So out of your database, that's a NAR statistic.
I would also say, don't take anything for granted. I started going to somewhere for trivia on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
happened to meet a couple people and we ended up making a team.
Yeah.
And one of those guys writes policy for the Senate and President of DC.
Nice.
He's not a client yet.
Yeah, but you're building a relationship, right? Yeah. Aisha, we were just talking about, she had an open house and she met somebody that is Italian and speaks Italian, and they hit it off. And this woman, they built such a strong little rapport with each other during the open house showing that the woman was like, oh, I'm going to invite you to my women's luncheon group that, we meet whatever it is once a month. That is building relationships, right? That's finding a niche and building relationships in a group that maybe they don't have a realtor in their group of Italian ladies that go to lunch every month or whatever it is, right? So looking for opportunities to build those relationships, but do what the top producers do, right? We say it all the time, success leaves clues, right? Follow those clues, do what the higher producers are doing. Those activities that generate them the highest return on their time and their investment, right? The next one is focusing on what's most important. So as we go into this different market, in the past market, the past 2 years, you could just kind of sit back and a lot of times leads or business came to you. It just kind of got dropped in your lap, maybe not, but for the most part, there was a lot of business out there, right? You're going to have to shift to a business of engaging with potential clients. So you're going to have to do what? How do you engage with more people? We talked about it in accountability. Marketing. You are going to have to market yourself. In order to attract business, you're going to have to focus on marketing yourself. Period. Even if you're on the Zillow team, the Zillow team, the Opcity team, that's great. They bring you great opportunities to connect with people. However, do you want to keep paying 35% referral fee on business for the entirety of your career? No, you won't. It's going to get old, right? So how do you shift that to a business where you make all of the commission income off of it and build to your 90% split faster? Marketing. It's going to be in marketing yourself. So you're going to have to stay top of mind, stay in front of your database people consistently all the time. Okay. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to put together a marketing business planning session where we're going to get together and we're going to do our marketing plans for 2023 before January 1st. Because right now, Q4 is when you guys should be putting together not just your business plan for next year, but what is your marketing plan? So that's great. You have to know what your goal is and what you want to accomplish next year. But then your marketing plan is what you're implementing to get you to where you want to go next year. Does that make sense? So you're going to have to focus on marketing. You cannot overlook the importance and the value of marketing yourself. Becoming a proven source of real estate information. So this is one of the first things that you can do to market yourself is that information, knowing everything that's going on and becoming that source of real estate info for your database people, right? So National Association of Realtors is forecasting for 2023 a 13% decrease in unit sales. So the number of houses sold, NAR is forecasting a 13% decrease in sales for 2023. In 2021, the number of homes sold, and this is a NAR statistic, was 6.1 million sales. 6.1 million homes were sold in 2021. So a 15%, even if we go on the higher side of 13%, a 15% decrease in sales is almost 1 million sales. What do agents and buyers and sellers and the media tend to focus on? Which number? The 1 million, right? The decrease. They're all doom and gloom. If it bleeds, it reads. There's going to be a 1 million home decrease in the number of homes sold in 2023. Let's flip that around. What does that mean? How many homes are still going to be sold in 2023? 5.2 million homes, right? 5.2 million homes will still be sold in 2023.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Is this just for
the nation. National Association of Realtors forecast for the whole nation, for all of the United States. So those are national statistics.
How often do they evaluate what they expect monthly or quarterly?
They usually probably do quarterly forecasts, but it's, you know, right now, so these statistics are right now current. So what they're forecasting for 2023. So I would guess, I'd have to go back in and look, I would guess that they readjust those quarterly when they come out with the different statistics. So what that means is, what I want you guys to wrap your mind around, the average number of homes that have sold in the United States for the last 5 years before 2021 was how many? You have it on your paper? No, 5.2 million. 5.2 million homes is exactly what the National Association of Realtors number of homes sold every year up until 2021 was 5.2 million. What did I say next year we're going to probably sell? 5.2 million. So what is our market going to look like next year? Exactly what it looked like for the 5 years prior to last year. Can we handle that? Yeah, right? Now I will tell you, there's more realtors in the marketplace now than there were in 2020, in 2019, and in 2018.
Going down,
It is going down. What happens is that number, as we start to shift back into a more regular, because everybody jumps in, right, when it's good and the getting's good and there's leads flowing and buyers and sellers coming, everybody jumps in the market because they think it's going to be easy. And oh, there's so much business. Oh, so many houses are selling, right? When the market shifts, those agents that didn't develop these skill sets and didn't build relationships and aren't marketing themselves are the first ones to leave the industry, hands down. So that's why I'm trying to stress to you how imperative those activities are for you. Okay. So if you're just sitting back and taking Zillow leads and that's what your whole business plan is based around, I'm going to tell you, good luck. It's going to get hard. It's going to get harder. Okay. So keep that perspective though. That's the perspective you need to be giving to people. That's the information you need to be sharing to people. That yes, they're forecasting a decrease in the number of homes sold next year. However, the decrease still puts us on par with the number of houses we've been selling every year for the 5 years prior to 2021. Does that sound like a different message than gloom and doom? Oh, it's gonna be $1 million home sale decrease in the real estate market in the nation next year. We're gonna lose 15% of the business next year. Yeah, but that's what it's called, a leveling, right? The bottom's not dropping out, the bubble's not bursting, none of those things are happening. Okay, so understand that. Here's the next thing I want you to do. I want you, and this is a task. So when you leave here today, I want you to go and write down every single thing that you can think of that an average agent does to build their business. So for example, for each activity you do to build your business, what does an average agent do? So I gave the example of an open house. So I want you to write down, okay, for an open house, an average agent does what? They might put out 2 to 3 open house directional signs, right? An average agent might put out some balloons on the mailbox. An average agent might get some snacks and put some snacks in the house, right? An average agent might, but I question you to, I don't even think an average agent is door knocking with flyers. I don't think an average agent is advertising it on Facebook boosted ads. I think they're changing the status in MLS, advertising an open house in the MLS and letting that syndicate out everywhere. That's what an average agent does for an open house. Now, what I want to challenge you to do is, how can I do every one of those activities better, more? What can I do better than what the average agent does for an open house? So if you like holding open houses, analyze and look at, how am I holding open houses? How can I do it better, more, bigger, right? More directional sign panels, better snack. Maybe it's not just, packaged chips and cookies and cider. Maybe I'm leveling it up and I'm going to advertise that I'm leveling it up. Maybe I'm going to have a food truck out there, or maybe I'm going to have mimosa brunch or a Twilight champagne open house, right? How can you do it different, better, more? Because now when you go into a listing presentation, is that a different presentation than just saying, I'm going to hold open houses every Saturday and Sunday, or every Saturday for the first 3 weeks or whatever? No, I'm going to say, Miss Seller, I understand a lot of agents are going to come in and interview for your business, and a lot of them are going to tell you they're going to hold open houses. Let me explain for you how the typical agent holds an open house, and then let me outline for you how I'm going to hold an open house and how I'm going to market your property, right? I'm going to blanket the feeder neighborhoods leading up to your home with open house invitations, flyers. I'm going to door knock it for the 2 weeks prior to your open house, or the 1 week prior. I'm delivering over 500 flyers to the feeder neighborhoods to draw people out to your open house. Does that sound different than saying, I'm going to hold an open house? Yes, right? So I want you to write down the activities you do in your business, your listing presentation, how you market your listing, what you do to market the listing, what the average agent does that the average agent does, and how can you level up, right? Because to survive in a different market where you're competing for business, you have to level up. So how are you going to do that? What's that going to look like for you? And write that down. So here's something to keep in mind. Sellers, when they sold, the NAR statistic says that when a seller sells a house, the next home that they purchase is 52% on average purchase price more than the one that they sold. So that tells you, when you're marketing yourself for a listing that you have coming active, who should you be marketing to? Those houses that are 52% less than the purchase price of the house that you're selling, right? So those are your feeder neighborhoods. So if you have a single family home, it's the townhomes or the condos. If it's a townhome, it's the condo community. Apartments, don't forget about apartments. So identifying the feeder neighborhoods and marketing yourselves, delivering flyers, estimated value, right? So on your open house flyer, here's what I recommend to you. On the flip side, most agents just take an open house flyer. They print it out in the MLS, in Market Leader or Resource Center. Open house coming this Saturday, 12 to 2. Come out for light refreshments. Woohoo, that's great, light refreshments. But they miss a huge piece of marketing for themselves, especially if you're marketing to a feeder neighborhood. On the back side of that flyer, you're going to have your PRMI lenders create a flyer for you. Bronwyn will do it, Jason, any of them. And on that flyer, they're going to take that listing and they're going to do the estimated monthly mortgage payment for that property and the estimated closing costs. And by the way, if they have any grant programs that they know of, any grant programs that home might qualify for. or a buyer buying that home might qualify for. So now when you go to that feeder neighborhood and you take your open house flyer for your listing that's selling for 385,000, and I go to the condo community down the street where they probably bought it for 250,000, and I give them a flyer to the open house, or if they're renters, even better. And on the back side, I show how much they could own this home for, the average monthly mortgage payment. Do you think, what's that? Exactly. Chances are that monthly mortgage payment is less than their rent that they're paying. So when I'm door knocking them, and I know there's renters in this neighborhood, and I'm door knocking them, I'm showing them, we have an open house coming up this weekend. I'd love to have you come out. By the way, on the back side is more details about the property, along with the estimated monthly mortgage payment that a homeowner buying this property could expect in today's market. Did you just level up your open house flyer? Absolutely. Now they're seeing in black and white, holy moly. And it's a talking point, right? You mean, so I rent here, Brandon, and we're paying $1,850 in our monthly rent. So you're telling me that I could possibly buy that house for $1,500 mortgage payment a month?
Yeah, there's a house in Eatonville by High School, like 3 summers ago.
Yeah.
And it was for rent, we were looking to move at the time, so I just checked it out. We were asking like $2,300
Yeah.
for rent right now.
Yeah. And know those things, right? When I tell you become a student of the market, no, when I'm going out to door knock row houses in Arbutus, because I have a single family home getting ready to go active, I'm door knocking, but I'm pulling up that list in property records. And I want to know how many of those people living in those homes are non-owner occupant properties, meaning there's renters living in that property because the owner doesn't live there, right? So now I know that a large majority of those properties, or that there's a chunk of them that are renters. Even more valuable for me for door knocking, right? Because they're renters, they're probably overpaying in their rentals, and they could own their own home for less than what they're paying in rentals. So that's how you can level up anything just as simple as an open house flyer, right? But write down everything you do, everything the average agent does for every activity you do to build your business or market yourself, and how can you level it up? I'm talking about, okay, great, I get a new lead, a new Zillow lead in, and I follow up with a text message. If you're typing a text message, how can you level up that message back to that new lead that you just got? Video, thank you. Video, video, video. If you're not leveling up your communications using video, you're missing the boat, and you absolutely should be. Because if every other agent that they contacted through Zillow is sending them a follow-up text confirming, hey, I got that appointment scheduled, or it was great talking to you, the appointment's scheduled, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at da-da-da-da. Every other agent's doing that, but Brandon Bachman is sending, hey guys, it's me, Brandon. We just chatted on Zillow. It was great talking to you. Just wanted to let you know I have that appointment confirmed for tomorrow at 2. This is the face that you're going to be seeing. Can't wait to meet you in person. Call me if you have any other properties you want me to tag onto this one. Did you just level up to a Zillow lead from everybody else that's texting that Zillow lead? 150%, yes. Okay, so how can you level up? Stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. That brings us right into the next one, right? Do something different. Video, 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 video. Do you guys get the point that video is a game changer for you and your business? I've been preaching it for I don't even know how many years. Marissa Henn, if you ask her if video has leveled up her business, she's going to tell you tremendously so. So much so, she does more video now every single month, sometimes every week, than she's ever done because of the impact it's had on helping her grow her business. It's exploded for her because of video. She's here. Go ask her. She'll tell you the impact that video's had on her business. Video out a birthday message instead of texting somebody or Facebooking, right? We all go, oh, happy birthday, da, 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 and I text it, I type it. If I see that it's your birthday and you're in my database and you're a past client, I'm going to pick up my phone, text message you a video of me saying, hey, Aisha, I see that it's your birthday today. I hope it's one of the best ones yet. I hope this year is a phenomenal one for you. I'd love to connect and take you out for a drink for your birthday. Just wanted to say happy birthday. I hope it's a great day.
Who did you say that was?
What's that?
Who did you say?
Marissa Hen. Yeah. You can look at her Facebook and see all the video. Pull up her YouTube channel, all the video that she's doing. You can do video market updates, post it on YouTube, email it out to your database and your social media. So don't just think, okay, I can record a video, I'm going to post it on my Facebook page and everybody's going to see it. Use the tools we give you. Market Leader will email out to your database. You upload your video into it and you can email blast it out to everybody in your database, a market update. Is that more impactful in landing in their email inbox versus posting it on Facebook and hoping that when they eventually scroll through there, they end up seeing it? A lot more powerful. If you're not using TikTok Reels for your Facebook and Instagram stories, you absolutely need to be. Watch Saeed. Saeed does a great job of it. Willie Guerra. Follow Willie because he is the bomb at doing TikTok Reels on his Facebook and Instagram feeds. So stories. Willie Guerra, Guerra. So video, level up, stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, do something different. You've got to be doing what everybody else is not doing to stand out among all the crowd, right? Number 7, make phone calls. Does everybody know what this is meant to do? Call, right? It's when you look at the list of top 10 things that people use their cell phone for, I'd be curious to see whether it even makes number 10 anymore. People aren't using their cell phones to pick up and call other people anymore. You have to be. You have to be. Okay. So here's what you do. Call through your database. Here's the script for you. Hey, Aisha, it's me, Tina. Listen, I'm working on my business plan. Are we lying? No. Are we all working on our business plan in Q4? Yes. I'm working on my business. You can do this every 90 days. So you can say to them, hey, I'm working on updating my 2023 business plan. It's Q2. I'm ditching anything that didn't work last quarter, and I'm adding in new things that I need to be doing in this quarter. So I'm calling people that whose opinions I respect. What are you doing? I just threw you a compliment, right? I just said to you, I respect your opinion, and it's valuable to me in helping me grow and build my business. I wanted to ask you, it's only going to take 2 minutes, but I wanted to ask you, what should I be including in my business communications or marketing that would offer more or better value to people like you and potential buyers and sellers this year? Does that have impact? When I call somebody that I already have a relationship with and I say to them, I respect your opinion, I'd love to know or hear from you, what would you recommend? So here's what's going to happen, right? Half the people you call aren't going to answer, and that's okay, right? That's fine. Half of them that do answer will give you a response that'll say, I don't, nothing really, I get your stuff already. Or, here's what half of them might say to you. I didn't even know you were still in real estate, or I didn't even know you were a realtor, or I thought you were a realtor. I saw a Facebook post or I saw something, but I don't really know much about your business. I don't know. Keep in touch with us more. Send us more information. Or I'd love to hear more about what's going on in the market or updates about the market, right? They're going to tell you. So you're going to write down what they tell you. That's important. You're going to send them a handwritten note card to thank them for giving you feedback and giving you some advice on building your business. And then you're going to follow up in 30 days for those that gave you a tip, and you're going to tell them how you started using their idea in your business, and you're going to thank them for the input. Drop the mic. If you don't think that that has power and impact in your business and in the relationships you have with people, it absolutely does. So that's your plan. You call your database, you ask them those questions, you're going to implement some of their feet. So if they say, stay in touch with us more, I would love to. Absolutely. Did you realize I have a client appreciation program where I send out a monthly email newsletter with valuable market updates every single month to people that I have in my client appreciation program? If you're not already getting those, let me make sure I have the right email address for you. And now I'm getting their email address, right? But you have to be doing those things. Make sure your e-newsletter is set up, your holiday e-cards. Every holiday you're sending out e-cards, whatever else you're sending out, market updates, market statistic updates, right? But get that information from us. So how would you like me to communicate with you? What's the best way for me to share valuable information to you? Is it through email? Is it through phone calls or text message video updates? Is it social media? Are we connected on all of the relevant platforms? So if they say stay in touch or send us more valuable information, make sure you have all of their contact information.
It may
Okay.
sound archaic, but I started doing a thing where it went for a page for each person. I reach
Yeah,
out to.
that's the tip that I give everybody. Yeah,
And I write down what was the outcome. Did I get in touch with them? Yes or no? If I
Yeah.
did get in touch with them, bullet points. How you doing? How old are the kids?
yeah,
And
good.
then what was their overall general response and reaction, so that when I touch base with them again in the future, I kind of already have an idea of
How they
it went
received.
last
Yeah,
time.
good, good. That's awesome. Good job. I love it. So here's the next thing you can do for making phone calls. Every time you close a deal, call the client afterwards and ask them exactly this question. Don't change it. Don't shorten it. There's a reason. Ask them, is there anything I could have done throughout the transaction to provide an even higher level of service? And then take their feedback, implement their feedback in your business. Notice, I don't want you saying, is there anything I could have done better? Right? Because then it insinuates what? It's open-ended, and it insinuates that I think, or maybe you think, I didn't do a good job. But if I say anything I could have done during the transaction to provide an even higher level of service, it makes it sound like you're trying to level up. You want to provide an even better experience for your clients, right? And then write those notes. Implement what they give you as feedback. Send them a handwritten note card thanking them for the feedback. The next one is when you close a buyer, you have to implement this follow-up plan. If you're not already doing this, you absolutely are missing the boat on this. You should be calling one day after settlement, thanking them for the opportunity, and then asking them that question, right? You already have a reason to call, but call, thank them for the opportunity to work with them. By the way, for my growth opportunity purposes, is there something I could have done to provide an even higher level of service to you during the transaction that I can implement in my business moving forward, right? One day after, 1 week to the day, how did the move go? Are you all settled in? Are you getting settled in, right? 30 days, so 1 month after closing, happy 1 month anniversary. 6 months to the day. I can't believe it's already been 6 months. Can you believe you've already been in your house for 6 months? And then 1 year anniversary and every anniversary thereafter. You're calling them. I didn't say send them a text, hit them up on Facebook, send them an email. A card in the mail is great. Yeah, Brandon, what? Oh, I thought you were gonna have a question.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
What's the best way to keep all those dates? That's a lot of dates.
Market leader.
Keep it working.
Market leader, you set up tasks for yourself. So when you close them, you can even set up, I think you can auto set up a campaign. That's a phone call campaign. You create your own campaign. That's a 1 year or ongoing follow-up campaign on purchase anniversary dates. And you set up the campaign for a task, and it's a phone call task. 1 day after added to that campaign, 1 week after added to the 7 days, 30 days, 6 months, 180 days, 365 days, or the anniversary, you put the date in exactly one, and then every 365 days thereafter. Then every time you add a new buyer, when they close in your closing checklist after settlement, you're going to add them to that campaign, closed buyer campaign, or create a group that's closed buyers so that campaign auto kicks into. It's so easy. You do it one time, and every time you add a buyer into that closed buyer group, that campaign kicks off 1 day after they're added to that group. And then you get an email alert from Market Leader saying, call Brandon Bachman 30-day anniversary, call Brandon Bachman 6-month anniversary, Call Brandon Bachman, 1 year anniversary. So as you're closing buyers, now every day you should be getting, ideally in the future, you're gonna be getting alerts that say, these 3 people, Aisha, 30-day anniversary, Brandon, 1 day after purchase, Sharon, 1 week after purchase, right? So you know who to call every day. Right? Yes. Yeah.
It'll kind of, I kind of followed and watched Errol help with my dad's transaction.
Yeah.
And I didn't see if this happened or not. Does the seller or buyer at any point ever get the information really of the other person? Like, what I mean by that is the person that bought my father's property. Does it go against any unsaid rules since they already had their own representation to? Hey,
So-
you bought this house 6 months ago, how do you like it?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I mean, no, there's no rules. There's no ethics.
I-
Once
I
they've
think
closed
so.
a deal, yeah, I mean, because here's the thing, right? What's the NAR statistics say about agent follow-up?
It's terrible.
It's horrible. It's something like 15% of agents follow up with their clients after the transaction's closed. So if their agent's not following up with them, somebody should be, and it's an opportunity for you. You can say, hi, this is Jacob Shuey. I represented the sellers in the home that you purchased 6 months ago. I just wanted to call and follow up and say happy 6-month anniversary. I hope everything's going well in the home. Is there any market information or any valuable information that I can be sharing with you about your neighborhood or your marketplace? And then just call and say, hey, happy 1-year anniversary. This is Jacob. I was the listing agent on the home that you bought a year ago. You popped up in my reminders that today was your 1-year home purchase anniversary. Congratulations. You don't even have to say anything else other than that, because I can tell you, chances are their agent is not doing it.
It's just a great, it seems to me like a great opportunity
Mhm.
to build a relationship. and rapport.
Sure, absolutely. So there's that follow-up system for you. You absolutely, and it doesn't have to be just your buyers, but ideally, if you sold a house for a seller, they bought another house with you, so you're gonna follow up on the purchase anniversary date of their purchase.
Do you have, the list of all our close dates?
I do, I can pull that report out of Memo. I can export it right out of Memo when it closed. Yep.
There's another one. We had the same, similar conversation. About another list. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
but I can pull your buyers and sellers. I can sort it based on who was a buyer, who was a seller. I do this when we do business planning. So I pull your list, your report of your business that you did for the year,
Yep.
where it came from, so I can sort it and look at, okay, you were 75% buyer volume, 25% seller volume. One of your goals this year needs to be focusing on becoming intentional about shifting your business to seller volume, right? Your ideal balance should be 65 to 70% seller volume, 35 to 30% buyer volume. It's just how you're going to grow your business. You cannot grow your business if you don't start to shift that level to more seller heavy. So yeah, I can pull those reports for you. So e-campaigns, every 21 days, you should be sending something out to your database that has something to do with real estate electronically. 21, if you do the e-newsletter for 30 days, I'm okay with that. One thing I would recommend that you add in here is not just your e-newsletter, but your Buffini items of value mailers. They're in the hub for you. I'm thinking maybe what I should start doing is emailing them out to everybody as an attachment so you have it, because I don't know how many agents are actually going into the hub to look for it every month. But when you do your marketing plan, the item of value is a mailer that goes into their household, right, in their hands. The e-newsletter is electronic. Put them on a different schedule, right? So if the e-newsletter goes out on the 13th of every month, because it does, maybe your item of value, you mail it the last week of every month so that they're getting it the first week of every month. Okay, so you have something hitting them twice a month would be my recommendation. But absolutely either your e-newsletter or if there's something else you want to send out, but send something real estate related electronically to everybody in your database every single month. Your e-newsletter is free. You set it up one time and it's forgotten. That's all you have to do. Okay, so it's super easy. Last two. Number 9.
Quick thing,
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I do really well with, I have the holiday cards. I have
Good.
my buyer campaign for stuff. I have my long-term seller campaign. and stuff like
Good,
that.
yeah.
So, but with that being said, if you're doing the newsletter, this, that, and the other, let's say electronically, not talking about the being stuff.
Yeah.
right now. It's at a point where if they're getting listings from you, plus that, there's sometimes an oversaturation.
Can be, yeah. So, I mean, your if you think about your buyer lead conversion campaign, that goes out to them. What I would recommend is when you set up a campaign like that, like your buyer lead conversion, where you're trying to convert them to be a buyer with you, there's an option at the end of that campaign where you click a button that says add to e-newsletter when campaign completes. So you can add them, you can start the e-newsletter to them after you finish the buyer online lead conversion campaign. So I would maybe recommend something like that, because yes, I mean, if you're sending them listing alerts and they're getting listings from you, if they're a buyer lead,
Twice a week.
and the buyer lead conversion campaign, right? I would hold off to send the e-newsletter until that buyer lead conversion campaign completes,
Yeah.
and then kick that off to them. But your sellers, I mean, they're not getting as much from you because they're not getting listing alerts probably. Maybe they're getting a once a month email about selling if they're a long-term seller, right? But they should be getting your e-newsletter and your holiday e-cards also. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right. So the next one, Expert Marketing Suite, My Smart Sign tools. I want you guys to become experts at understanding the marketing tools that are available to you for free through the Exit Resource Center, because these are tools that only exit agents have at their disposal to use, and they're pre-built for you. They're professionally built. They're auto-created every time you get a new a new listing that goes active in the MLS. I guarantee you there's a large majority of our agents in our offices that have no idea how to find these tools, how to use these tools, or even what tools are set up for you as soon as a listing goes active in the MLS. So learn it. There's training videos in the resource center for you, but it's the Expert Marketing Suite to market your listings. It captures leads for you. So automatically from your sign panels, it's going to capture leads. From your property websites that it creates, it's capturing leads if you're marketing it out. Okay, so understand those tools, because you are going to have to actually start marketing your listings if you get listings in a different market. Okay, so if we see a shift in the market, you will have to market your listings, because they're not just going to fly off the shelf, right? Automatically. When there's more competition in the marketplace, your listings are going to sit a little bit longer. You're going to have to market them. All right, so understand the tools that are available to you. And then the last thing is come to accountability. Come to accountability. I can't stress that enough. Every agent needs, if you don't have a coach, a business coach, you at a minimum should have an accountability partner or coming to group accountability. So you can partner with another agent in the office. Just make sure who you're partnering with is somebody that's going to hold your feet to the fire, because if they don't, it's a waste of time. Group accountability every Monday morning at 10 a.m. in here in this room. We ask, these are the questions I ask you. What did you do last week or not do that you were supposed to do? What are you going to do in the next 7 days to reach the goals that you want to reach? You come in, you talk about what worked, what went well, what you're struggling with. We help you come up with ideas to help fix those things that you're struggling with, right? Aisha, yes, no. This is exactly what we talk about. What did you do in the last 7 days that you should have done that you didn't do, or that didn't work great? And what are you going to do in the next 7 days? Because then next week I'm going to ask you, great, Jacob, last week you had these 3 tasks that you were supposed to be working on. How did it go? Did you do them? And you're going to say in front of the group of peers that's holding you accountable, yeah, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do any of them. And we're going to say, well, so now when you have no leads because you didn't call those people in your database that you were supposed to call, what are you going to do next week? Call the people in your database, right? Do the activities. So every week you're going to track what you're doing and you bring it in. You're ready to talk about it every week. And then we're going to regroup. We all share and help each other figure out how to work through struggles, things that went bad or that you're stuck with or not working well. And we help level you up to get you on task and stay focused and positive for next week moving forward. All right? So those are your 10 activities. How much is that going to cost you? Very little. Everything I just talked about, other than maybe mailing a stamp to mail out handwritten note cards, right? Everything I just talked about costs you nothing. Nothing. All right, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. Good. Thank you for coming. I'm going to stop recording. I did record this. So I'm going to load it to the hub along with this handout. So you guys that are on here as well, if anybody's still on. Yep, everybody. Did anybody have questions online before I stop? The online post thing? No. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. Yes.
The days on market